Hello, Assassins, and welcome back to Rally the Creed with me, Gargudon, and the man, Col himself. So, today we're doing a slightly delayed, but nonetheless very good discussion about 9 years of our site here. And we're going to be covering a wide array of things, so let's just dive right into it. So, firstly, I was thinking we could start off by winding back to 2014. You founding the site. What was it that made you want to do that?
Hi guys, thanks for having me back, Gustav. It's always a pleasure to be on Rally the Creed. So yeah, starting the ones that came before was sort of like a journey that took many years to accomplish, really, because it started very much on paper. So when I started the ones that came before, it was because I'd filled notebooks and notebooks, books and books, honestly, notes everywhere, just Assassin's Creed theories, ideas, thoughts. And my bedroom was just scattered with these little notes everywhere. And it
Yeah.
was a time where I was like, well, the internet is, a big platform for discussion. Twitter was sort of becoming big with the Assassin's Creed community. There were several Twitter accounts that aren't around anymore, big communities, and they were all focused on the news. And I wanted to set up a place that was purely theories. So when I kickstarted the ones that came before, I got my notebooks and one by one wrote down all the theories in like article formats. We were very much Facebook based back then, and Twitter was mainly just for redirecting people to the Facebook to read the longer articles. So that's how we got
Right.
started, and it was just me, and then my little brother helped with the graphics. So if you go back way back then, it was like very much like basic look of the ones that came before. We didn't really stand out, but
It's kind of like
it was just like a passion project.
of course, it was kind of like a garage company back then, I suppose.
Mhm.
Of
Yeah,
course.
it's so
Um,
small, and then we one by one we set up the different platforms. So of course, Facebook first, Twitter next, and it was one or two followers, and then we are in the shadow of the bigger Assassin's Creed communities, and we are always like shouting into the darkness. I always think of it as because we're there with all these great ideas, and no one's really listening. But then we just kept doing what we were doing, and it was consistency that picked us up to become one of the biggest Assassin's Creed communities out there. So we just kept on going, and we
of
loved
course.
what we did. And then one day, Justin Kruger, who was the community developer at Ubisoft, he saw
I
what we were
remember that.
doing, and he invited me onto the Assassin's Creed Unity Community Unites podcast. And
Yeah.
it was a live stream even, and it was where community members would join him for the Unity co-op. So we're all on there doing the multiplayer. And I went on there, and I always think of it as like my 10 minutes of fame. So like, I was on there, and everyone sort of knew who I was already from like a theory that had done really well. And it was like that was probably like the turning point where people knew me as Call 96. And that like elevated my status in the community as like not just like someone who's writing, it's like someone who is like I guess like respectable Assassin's Creed community member.
Of
So I think
course.
today, like I'm probably like one of the most well-known community members, just
For
purely because
sure.
of how long I've done this.
For
Like
sure.
I mean, 9 years is a long time, but
For
that's
sure.
really how I got started. It was all these writings, and then I wanted to take it a step further. So of course, with this, this new opportunity of putting my face out there and people recognizing me, then I wanted to do something different. So I started a YouTube channel. So that's where it very much was me taking these notes and the articles, and it was like reading them out and even learning a bit of video editing. So I started using Sony Vegas, the video editing platform. So on there, I started becoming like, I wouldn't say like I was a YouTuber, but I did YouTube, make videos, and joined on podcasts like this. I was on quite a few of them, and then Ubisoft again were reaching out to me as one of the community leaders, and they were giving me opportunities such as the Star Player program. That was one that was around, and then there was the Assassin's Creed Unity community program that was around as well. So I've been on many versions of the same thing, really. So the Mentors Guild is probably the most recent version of it. But throughout my time in the community, there's been different versions of it under different branches and names. And the UK community do their own thing as well. But in some form, I've always been a part of that. But where it really, I guess, heated up was in 2016, where I got invited to the Star Player program. That was the main one,
That's
because
right.
that takes community members and their content, and it spotlights it on the big channels. So on the website, the channels. There's all these chances to be recognized, and then you go away with them to wherever. So it's normally Gamescom, but they do LA as well for the events over there, and you get to meet the other community members and also the developers. That's a big one. So in 2016, I was taken over to Gamescom. It was my first time abroad, so I was really looking forward to it. Went across and attended that. And it was the same year the Assassin's Creed movie came out, so everyone was really excited about that. There was cosplayers there, developers, so
Went to
UBG,
that
all these people.
event in London, wasn't it? Like a few months before the film actually came out.
Yes, that's right. So that was 2016 as well. I was lucky enough to be invited as a journalist then. So that was, I guess it was like an exclusive early access preview of the movie. So that was another thing as a community member and as a writer as well. They took me across there, down to London. It's about a 3 hour drive for me. And down I went and attended this event where it was the crew that had worked on it. So we had the lady who had created the costumes, Sammy Sheldon, she was there. And then also the sound team, they were all there, and yeah, it was pretty incredible. And then Amar Aziz, he was there as well. So he was the head of transmedia on Assassin's Creed. So
Amazing.
he was there. I had the opportunity to do an interview with him, and that's where another thing that probably elevated me in the community was I've done interviews with near enough probably 50% of the voice actors and developers, like where possible. Like I guess like the main ones, like the main names people know of in Assassin's Creed, like Ezio, Roger Craig Smith, for example, and I've tried to work my way through them. But yeah, back in 2016, that was like a massive rise for the ones who came before us, that we were known for the Star Player program, and then one by one meeting all these people, doing interviews. And then I guess that was about the time I realized that I can do this with more than just myself, because obviously I have my own life outside of Assassin's Creed. I've got a lot going on. I had exams at the time, and I realized that I need to build a team around me to get this to be successful. So I also realized time zones are a big thing. If you want to be like the most, like, I guess, alert and up to date on news, you need people around the world, really. So that's when I started recruiting. So I recruited a graphic designer, and then we also got a social media manager from Lithuania. So there's two different bits of Europe there. And we just wanted to, I guess, have the time zone impact. But then we kept going for 2 years or so, and we created the logo as well. So Irakli, he designed our logo t-shirt, yes, perfect. Which is arguably now one of the most recognizable logos in the community, just because of how long we've had it. And like, of course, it means something to a lot of people. It's now seen as like one of the, the big communities that you can trust. And, we are there for people. Like, we cover everything Assassin's Creed, and we are just like a massive family within the team. And like when we meet people in real life as well, like we always try do our best to give back to the community. We do giveaways, we do charity events. Like, we do everything we can. We do the, spotlighting on our website. So community's like completely at the heart of it because it's run by the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a lot that's happened over 9 years. But
so
I mean, I guess in brief, that's it really. Ubisoft gave us this massive opportunity with the Star Player program that boosted us up, and then one by one, I've recruited people like yourself. So now there's 22 people on the team, and it is this massive thing that started from 1 or 2 Facebook followers to now about 65,000 on all platforms. So it really has grown, and like we all love what we do, and we're just glad to be able to cover this and have the support of the community and Ubisoft as well.
Absolutely. And I suppose that like the site blowing up like essentially happened, give or take 2 years, but all happened fairly quickly. From starting it in your bedroom on a little computer to the whole thing having been recognized by the developers and all that stuff, which is quite remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, starting from literally like creating the page, having like a generic logo and just doing it as a passion, to getting like giveaway prizes sent to us. We're getting unboxing video items sent to us. I mean, us within the team have had opportunities where we've been sent to like London, Germany,
Right.
like to like review things, early access to games. Like, I never imagined that when I started this. It fully was just like a small scale. I didn't really think it would go anywhere. It was just somewhere for me to voice my theories, to having these great opportunities within the community, and then to give these opportunities back, and all the possibilities of it. Like, we've raised money for so many charities relating to the franchise. Like, I mean, we've taken this big gaming franchise and we've had an impact on the real world. So, for example, we've raised money for an eagle charity, so all the injured eagles, and some of which have been featured in the series. And then there was removing litter from the ocean as well. So the idea was that with Black Flag, if it was made today in a modern day setting, you'd be sailing through the ocean and there'd just be litter everywhere in the garbage patch. It's
Water
really horrible
was blue.
planet in that sense. And we just
Beautiful.
wanted to take like this massive scope of a gaming world and make it real. And that's what we've done, to be honest. And like now building this community, Assassin's Creed feels real in a sense. So of course the community is always there, but now we've got it, and like we're doing these events with people, we're meeting people, and it just makes Assassin's Creed 4 feel more tangible and real life, if that makes sense.
For sure. Absolutely. I also just thought you mentioned, we've probably mentioned it before, but with Gamescom there, I remember it correctly that you were originally selected to go to E3 in LA, but you were only, what, was it 19 at the time? Uh,
Yes,
and
that's
there were
right.
like wine servings or whatever at events, and of course those, yeah, drinking laws, you couldn't go. So you got
Yeah,
to
I mean, I was
substitute it with Gamescom instead.
yeah. I mean, that was, of course, devastating at the time because
Yeah,
America was
that's of
just,
course.
I'd never even been abroad at the time. And the prospect of LA and then having it taken from me, it
Oh,
was pretty upsetting. But then to get it replaced with Germany, which of course was incredible on its own. I mean, the food, the drink, the nightlife. I mean, Cologne at night is incredible. They light up the cathedral and everything. And the
wow.
event itself was so huge. And meeting all these passionate community members. Ubisoft really look after their community as well. Like all the food, the hotels, everything was incredible. Like from the travel, like they must have spent a fortune on the community, and it really was a special experience. And it really is one of them standout moments in my, I guess, community career. Like it sort
Absolutely.
of took me from like a small scale writer to like I guess, like recognizable community member. So I'm very grateful for Ubisoft for that one. It was amazing. And they still send me and my wife Ashley things from the Star Player program, even though it was a couple of years ago. So we get early access to the game still. I mean, they send us, like, I've got a box upstairs I've not unboxed yet. It's from a new Assassin's Creed tabletop game that's coming out. So they send us like little bits of projects that are coming out to promote them on our socials. So they never forget about you. That's the great thing with it.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, it's definitely paid off, and yeah, Ubisoft, as we've said before, they take care of their fans. Um, but yeah, I suppose that was kind of the story of how the site was founded and up until now. And of course, part of that I thought could be fun to quickly cover how the two of us ever got acquainted. Because I mean, we've been partners in crime, I suppose, for I think it's like 8 years now.
Yeah.
I remember it as at the time there when you were like starting things up, I was just as a fan, really like tweeting stuff about Assassin's Creed, whatever. You found one of them like quite randomly.
Yeah.
And then like for a while we kind of ignored each other, but then like got to a point where we just started talking like everything AC. And then we just did that for a while, and I shared some ideas of, oh, this could be fun to do like an Assassin's Creed based podcast and some other content. And from there, like I suppose our working relationship kind of took off in 2016.
Definitely. I mean, for me as well, I'm always on the lookout for new community members who could potentially boost themselves within the community. So I remember what it was like to be like, one or two followers and, trying to make an impact, and nothing happens overnight. And then I remember Ubisoft giving me this massive boost. So that's what I try to do for people. I try get people who are great content creators and give them that same boost. So you, for example, I remember you having all these great ideas and the tweets, and of course you're based in Denmark as well. And there's not a massive Assassin's Creed community based in Denmark currently, but then there is
No.
in some of the other Scandinavian countries like Norway, I guess have got more of the Ubisoft support. So I felt that you in particular could do with this boost and would benefit from it. So by working with me and the site, this was the goal, was that we could really take this content to the next level. I feel like you've grown as a content creator as well, that you've
Oh, for
really come a
sure.
long way.
For
I mean,
sure.
you can see your progression. I mean, you think about like same as me, like I mean, starting from literally these ideas to, little notes everywhere to like now having,
Yeah.
like a platform and a place to share it. But with your content in particular, as soon as you started the podcast, I knew for a fact it was different to the other Assassin's Creed podcasts out there. And like,
That,
I think you're a great host at podcasting. Like, you're a
yeah,
really nice person as well, and you're just a great person to have around. So I wanted you on my team as soon as
for
like
sure.
the early days.
And I suppose
Yeah,
at
like I
the
said, a working relationship.
time, like Assassin's Creed podcasting, they're in like the mid tens was kind of at a stale point as well, maybe.
Yeah,
Like there had been some good ones, everybody from what's his name, Luma to a few
yes.
others, but that was kind of like 2, 3 years prior that those were in their prime.
Yeah, I guess so. And I think the other thing with Assassin's Creed is sometimes content creators are only around for certain moments in the timeline of the games. So if you think about it,
Yeah.
like there are people who have created podcasts and then all of a sudden Assassin's Creed is becoming RPG and they're like, that's not for me. And then the podcast shuts down. And then that's another project that's concluded. And they've just moved on to other franchises. Whereas me and you, we've stuck with Assassin's Creed, no matter what. That's the thing with the franchise, it
Sure.
always adapts and evolves. It's always changing format and the communities as well. Like people come and go, but because we've been so consistent with it, I guess that's what has helped us progress.
Like I said in my video, we posted like just about our stories with the site. There was like a time where it wasn't that I was necessarily not an AC fan any longer, but I had definitely been kind of okay. This new direction of the franchise is a little odd, but I still absolutely adore the old stuff. And there was like a year's time there where I didn't really produce any content at all. But then, like as I said, you got the idea. I'll hop aboard this new partnership program you're booting up, and we'll continue Corridor as part of that, which was very good. And yeah, I still have my skeptical thoughts about like the franchise now. But if anything, it's for the community, just like the brotherhood and if anything, the old stuff that will just always be there and could inspire so many things.
Yeah. And that's it. The old games are not going anywhere, and the
Of
new
course
games
not.
aren't doing anything to damage the old games and the legacy of it. So, in real terms, it's like the RPG stuff is because the mechanics and everything have improved. So they've tried something a bit different. And each time they adapt the games. So, for example, from AC3, you had the naval stuff, and that was like small missions to creating a full game from it. It's like they take like a core bit, like exploration with Origins to with Odyssey, you've got more, even like a bigger world with more exploration and RPG, and it almost like one game feeds into another. But I think that's why people are so excited about Assassin's Creed Mirage, is because it's seen what we've recently had with Valhalla, and it's been like, right, let's examine what makes Assassin's Creed. And they've taken the best bits of it and brought them back, and things which should never have gone in the first place. And a part of like the building blocks of AC and the tenets of the creed, like listening for information, pickpocketing, stealth, things that should never have disappeared because it is so entwined into the core of the franchise that, like I say, it should never have gone. That they're bringing it back, and it feels like a real return to the roots. But really, it is just like things that are so simple for Assassin's Creed, and they are like the building blocks that they should have been brought back a long time ago. But because it's coming all back at once in this huge surge, people are very excited. And a smaller game as well, that you don't have to worry about hundreds of hours on this one. You can just play it for the story. And they're saying you can complete this one in like 40, 50, 60 hours in that region compared to 100 plus.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. They somebody said that recently that it would be in the, yeah, I think it was like 30, 40 hour range.
Mhm. Depending on how much you want to complete within the game, because of course there's the side content, collectibles. There's obviously a lot of that sort of smaller content, but I always feel like these sort of smaller ones, like the world events, add to the game, and they've been around since the time of Assassin's Creed 3. Because I remember the homestead missions being some of the best moments of Connor's personality shining through, and that's basically what
Oh,
the world events in
pretty cool,
Valhalla
yeah.
were. I mean, they were excellent. They bring a different depth to the character. So in Valhalla with these world events, you see like the quirky British, or if you can call it that, the different cultures within the game, and like sometimes like a bit of slang and stuff, and even like the way Eivor perceives the situation, like it just gives a different flavor to the character, and there's the personality traits that come out, and it's just a bit of fun, really. But I'm hoping we get these world events in Mirage because we could see another side to Basim that we just haven't seen yet.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I mean, and the game was just like moved up a week, so there's like already like a month and a half only.
Yes,
And
my birthday.
birthday present for you, yeah, that's a
Yes.
good one. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that game is received when it comes out. But it's definitely, I think, overall going to be. It may not be like the AC game everyone wants, but it's probably gonna, yeah, redeem some things that have, like, as you said, been removed with the last three games now.
And the movie as well. So I would love for this game to be known as like a critically acclaimed. Everyone in the community loves it for a different reason.
Yeah,
Because that's
like
the thing, like even with like Valhalla, people weren't happy about the whole gender swapping, had other issues with glitches and other bits as well. And high price point. There were two season passes.
wow.
So the other thing is microtransactions. So all these issues that take away from the game. But hopefully with Mirage, we can just get down to like a core narrative and an excellent game. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want.
It's interesting you just said the critically acclaimed thing. Are you thinking that this could be kind of like the second version of the way like Assassin's Creed 2 is acknowledged, or
I would love for that. I
because I
mean,
always
I'd
say
love that.
Assassin's Creed 2 is like kind of in a lot of ways feels like the only AC game that is like really acknowledged, like the game you've heard of no matter what, and the ones that the one that has really gone over in video game history as like the one.
Yeah, everyone knows that game, don't they? Inside
Yeah.
out. I mean, you can go to Florence and know your way around the streets because of that game. It's had that much of an impact on people's lives.
It's also just like compared to other games like The Witcher 3 and Grand Theft Auto 5 and those games, the ones that have really like are just part of video game history the same way that, yeah, a certain historical event is part of our knowledge. AC2 is the only one that kind of really sticks out in that sense.
So what I'd like to see from Mirage is Assassin's Creed back to winning awards. So even if it's like a couple of smaller awards. So for a start, I'd say the soundtrack already sounds phenomenal. So it'd be nice, just one by one, it builds up this reputation as being the real return to Assassin's Creed, returning to what it once was, in a sense. So it really is the most Assassin's Creed game. So it really will focus on the Brotherhood, all the things around that is including like smoke bombs, getting the rope dives back,
Oh,
the
yeah, sure.
the rope swings, and just I guess the best parkour and everything. You just want this to be like Assassin's Creed getting its reputation back and getting back on track for the fans that were, I guess, disenfranchised and lost interest. I guess we want this game to bring them back to the series and hopefully fall in love with it over again.
For sure. We'll see what happens when it rolls out.
Yeah,
And we'll definitely cover everything there is before and after.
yeah,
I just thought with what you said before, in terms of like the content we've been making and the way it's gotten us like acknowledged, and you mentioned like the Assassin's Creed community, like here in the Nordic countries. You're right that there isn't like a community like the same way there is in England with events and such. But it just dawned on me that I did Ubisoft Nordic have their headquarters here in Copenhagen, and It wasn't something I was directly invited to, but I suppose my content and like is what got me to attending that event still. It was back in 2017.
Yeah.
It was kind of like they made this post like we're hosting this fan event here next week, and if you want to attend, shoot us an email on why you need to attend. And of course,
Nice.
because I just had my back catalog, I've been working with these and these people, I've been doing this, and maybe that is what got me to visit. Now that was just a really
Fantastic.
fun time, visit the office, meet some of the community managers, try some games early, like AC Origins and Far Cry 5 and stuff.
Nice.
So it's not that my content hasn't gotten me nowhere, I suppose.
Mhm. I mean, it's just consistency at the end of the day and being passionate about it. I mean, people are always after like an immediate impact and it just doesn't happen. So you just need to keep at it, I guess. And it's so easy just to give up, but getting started is often the hardest bit. And your own worst enemy can be yourself when it comes to content creation, because people have a real sense of, they're looking at other people's content all the time and they're comparing. Comparisons are great sometimes, but then for a content creator, if you're over analyzing other people's content, you're finding yourself either copying without realizing it,
Yeah,
or you're trying to compete when you just need to focus on your own content. And that's what it is, really. I mean, consistency over a long period of time and passion and
for sure.
recognition comes after, I guess not years because Ubisoft are always watching, but I just think like overall performing at a level that they can relate to. So like people who like swearing, for example, who are like putting out like content that they don't agree with are not going to get the same opportunities.
Oh,
But
no.
if you like, I always think, if you act a certain way, you'll get treated a certain way. So like here at the ones that came before, we have our code of conduct. So there are certain things we don't do, like sharing leaks. That's probably a really good one where
Of
if you're
course.
sharing leaks, there's a good chance you're going to get blacklisted rather than invited to an event.
It's funny you say, and also what you said in the beginning with what you founded the site on is the principle you didn't want to just share news the way like other YouTube channels or such do, but you wanted to make it more unique. The truth is, especially in a place like YouTube, if you want to grow your channel there today, like I hate to say this, but you need to like do news coverage. You need to make 5 videos a day. You need to have a 10 minutes of you just rambling on about whatever. You need to have
Yeah.
like a thumbnail with arrows in it and a clickbaity title. And yeah, those are just the people that get the views and get the subscribers.
Yeah.
Whereas we might not be that, but then our content is really quality over quantity. Like we
Yeah.
focus on making unique stuff, like analytical stuff others wouldn't think of, and stuff like that.
That's it. And we've developed so much as well. Where it started from theories, I realized that sort of when I became more, I guess, journalistically minded, if that's like a phrase, I sort of
Yeah, I suppose.
learned the hard way, like how to do this better. So, like, what sort of content does better than other pieces, how to write in a way that people can understand. So, covering the news almost became like a part of my day-to-day working life. So it's like I'd be at work and a piece of Assassin's Creed information would drop and I'd just stop what I'd be doing and I'd reword it, I'd get the information out there in like a clear and concise way. So for me, that when we're sharing the news, that's what it's all about. It's about presenting information in a way that people can understand clearly. So never clickbait. For me, that's not why we do this. Like I would never put out like a clickbait article. I want to put something out that people can understand and
Yeah,
have a reliable source of information. So we've
absolutely.
gone from theories to, of course, news, community. We cover everything Assassin's Creed now, and news is
Sure.
obviously a big thing within that. But
News,
like I said,
sure, but at that
news for me is official news. It's not leaks because for some, covering leaks is how they get this big spike in followers. But
yeah,
that is literally like our foundation. We will never do that.
yeah,
We've got our code of conduct and we stick with it.
yeah, like no offense to anyone, but someone will share a leak and suddenly that video will blow the hell up and yeah, they'll gain so many new followers in that. Um, but yeah, we really stick to that, like I suppose that's our pride, just like
Yeah.
taking the news, but just retweeting it. Like sharing news
Yeah.
and stuff isn't at the core of ours. It's each hour's unique content, whether that's yeah, like Mike covering books and like
Yeah.
I'm way too stupid to know of, or me like creating half an hour of AC inspired original music, or you doing something analytical that like nobody else would have thought of and stuff.
And that's the great thing about our team. We have someone who can cover everything. So we've got like code breakers. We've got you you're a composer who's created music. You host podcasts. We've got Mike who does all the book reviews, like you say, the videos. We've got people who are now on TikTok creating videos. We've got people who are, writing about Assassin's Creed as if they were set in another era. So I guess reimagining the franchise. Like we have like a wide scope of people from all around the world. Like we've got people in countries all over the place. Like that's why it's so hard to meet up and have these like calls because the time zones. Like I mean, like for example, we've
Yeah.
got an art team. So Yaz on the art team is based down in Australia.
Yeah,
So yeah, like
the
you
time
really do have
differences
like
and
you were, and
like
someone who can do everything like
and
within our team. And that's the great thing about it. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. Like
of
I look
course,
for like a niche and like what do I feel like we are missing? What do we need? I
of
find that
course.
person, give them a chance, and then all of a sudden we have this like wide network of people and I just seem to never switch off when it comes to project ideas. I'm always writing down the ideas and then I've started distributing to people. So we've got this like wide network. I'll send people like ideas all the way around and then I'll assign them and then I'll set a date as well so that we've got projects on the go all the time as well as their own ideas. So we're like non-stop. I'm working on many projects at once and then we one by one tick them off and release them. So yeah, a lot of great people.
I suppose that could take us into slowly wrapping this up with the future, um,
Yeah.
both in general and our site here. Next year is going to be a big one, 10 years.
Yes.
So like where do we see this going forward, both in terms of yeah, content and whatnot?
Yeah, so I guess that is a big one, isn't it? A
Yeah,
decade of the ones that came before. That really is huge.
yeah.
So for me, I guess I just want to see it become more like a staple piece of the community as it is now, but with the new logo. So Fear's created this beautiful Assassin's Creed Mirage inspired logo. I'd love for that to be like a standout piece within the community. So everyone's got their own logos, but ours, I always feel like it adapts so well. Like we're so versatile with our logo. Over the years, we've done all sorts with it. So I'd like to see that out there more, like fans wearing t-shirts. I'd like to see people who are proud of being part of the ones who came before community, like yourself with the tattoo, for example. That's so cool to see.
That was
And
just
I
like
guess,
I'd always wanted an AC tattoo, and
yeah,
then I thought this is like the perfect one, and it has like a personal meaning as well, and such.
yeah. And I guess the main thing for me is giving all these people on the team their share of the spotlight as well. So with so many people, there's a worry that they're going to be pushed into the back. But I would love for everyone on the team to get involved, have their opportunity to shine. So everyone has their like minute to present themselves in a way they'd like to and to spotlight themselves. And then the other thing is to make community members feel welcome and also interact with them more. So with so many notifications as well, like it can be hard to interact with everyone. But I'd like to just take a second just to really make an effort to comment with everyone and just make it feel more like an interactive community. So less than just us posting the news and then not replying. Like I'd like to get around to commenting on everything and build the social media team up to a point where we are like it's friendly, we can interact with everyone and I
Sure.
guess just make the ones you came before, take it to another level. Like our content's already there, and it really is like impressive what we've achieved. But I always feel like there's more you can do. So I guess that huge to-do list upstairs in my office, just keep working on them and
Yeah.
assigning the tasks, bringing the right people in, and just hopefully becoming the home of all things Assassin's Creed because we've really made a big impact on the community and the people within it. And I think charity work as well, in particular, that's one standout thing for us. And yeah, I just want the ones came before to be like as well known as it is now. But I don't know, I just feel like there's more you can do So yeah, so
Sure, I
just
mean,
keep doing what we're doing, I guess, and yeah, hopefully, people are still enjoying being involved. And as we approach a decade, look at what we did well in the past and keep doing it in the future.
for sure. I also just thought finally you said in terms of always like I also thought in terms of like always pushing on what we do as content and the uniqueness. We'll see what happens, but I especially think one thing to look out for is what we can do in the video department going forward. Everything from like editing to yeah, whatever visual stuff, and I really think oh hey there, Missy.
Yeah.
So, I definitely think that is like something a field where there's a lot of opportunities for us, as it's probably the stuff we've touched upon the least ultimately.
Definitely, I fully agree. And getting the video content team aware of that as well, because they're all doing different sections at the minute. So we've got a couple streamers, we've got a TikToker, we've got YouTube, but bringing them all together to solely focus on the ones that came before video content. So what would be cool is if we could get set days for videos. So if we could get the ones that came before to release videos on the Twitter account, for example, on the Facebook. So it's not just the video sharing platforms and just to have, like you say, more continuity where we are sharing videos across the board on all the platforms and to have the team work together and little snippets. So like Rally the Creed, for example, is a good example where we have the host rotation. That's what sets it apart. It'd be nice if we could share like snippets on all the socials and then lead it to an article and then the videos as well. We could link up people's videos and like you say, it's probably the like newest, I guess, platform for us.
Yeah,
We are
video
very
and
much a
stuff.
community, but if we could get to a place where we're also well known in the video content creation world, I started from like writing and then YouTube, but here you go.
So little guy.
Yeah, it's funny
Yeah,
because when we first did Rally the Creed and it was just audio, like the cat would always meow in the background, but now we're on video. This is his time to
that's great.
shine. There he is.
Yeah,
But yeah, get into like a place where we're strong with our video editing and tribute videos that Josh does. If we can get to a place where across the board we're as strong with videos as we are as written, I think we'll excel and just take it to the next level.
whether that is like just as a lot of people have done successfully in the past, like kind of make I suppose fan edits or whatever, or very hypothetically speaking, even connecting with like other AC video creators and doing some sort of like be part of some like live action project if that makes sense. Very hypothetically speaking.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like all those you I know you remember those like the videos Devon Supertramp did back in the day,
Yes.
which was a
Brilliant.
very unique project.
That's it. To stand out, you do have to do these projects that other people would say aren't possible. For example, with us, an ambitious one I did was getting Assassin's Creed content creators to spotlight themselves in their own country. So I managed to get the Assassin's Creed Egypt team to travel to the pyramids of Giza and record and tell the community a little bit about themselves. So, like from my bedroom at the time in Carlisle, like writing some ideas down to getting someone to travel here's one to the
Yeah,
pyramids and record themselves for the launch of Assassin's Creed Origins and just tell us
incredible.
a bit about their community and what the Assassin's Creed franchise is like there, how people perceive it, what the community is like, what Ubisoft support's like over there. And then we did Colombia as well. So it was like this
Yeah,
network series.
of
And
course.
yeah, for sure we could bring something like that back as well. There's a ton of ideas that we could put together and get better at the video side of things because I know that's where a lot of people are thriving right now with of course, the Twitch streams and even just news sharing. Like you said, news is so big on YouTube and these streaming platforms.
Yeah. We'll just see what happens in the next year's time, and yeah, like I said, we'll plan something big for this time next year.
Yeah, definitely. And just to conclude, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that supported the ones that came before, because of course 9 years is a long time, and we've picked up a lot of community members in that time. But everyone's passion and just seeing the engagement we get from the community. It's why we do this. We love doing this, and we love seeing your responses to our content. So just a massive thank you to everyone, and also to everyone who helped with the creation of the 9 years with the Creed campaign that we just ran. So a lot of people were involved in that. And to see that do so well. So we had codes from Ubisoft, we had acquainted Publishing, we had the guys within the AC Partnership Program, the issue network team. So we got the new logo created. We got gifts from Mirage created. I did a post on LinkedIn and also the ones that came before Facebook the other day of all the individual pieces that made up that campaign. So that was a huge project. And yeah, it felt like a real coming together of the past and future for the ones who came before, just as this podcast has been, a good time to reflect on things. But now it's time to look to the future and hopefully take the best things of the content we've created and apply it over the next year. And then we'll reach 10 years of it. Crazy.
Wild one. Yeah, and in that line, I suppose, yeah, what he just said, and thanks for letting me be a part of this side. It's been quite the adventure and quite the community just to like have and come to always. So yeah,
Thank you for being a part of it.
of course. And I suppose like we made it full circle when we got to meet up there last year, like at long last. We'll definitely have
Yes,
to do that again at some point.
absolutely.
Like you said also earlier with just that we are such a broad team, and getting these like meetups is can be a difficult thing. So for us to like cross our paths there was lucky, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like a crossover, like Avengers.
Yeah, suppose so. All
Yeah.
right. Other than that, I don't think there's much more for us to talk about right now.
No, I think straight after this, I've got Assassin's Creed projects to work on.
Sure.
Never
I'll
stop.
probably just take a nice hour or two, and then I'll hit it. But other than that, then yeah, thanks to everyone for listening to this another episode of Rally the Creed. We'll of course be back for more sooner or later. And thanks for 9 years of continuous support, and we'll hope for another great year, and we'll make something big for the next anniversary. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, guys, and thanks for supporting the ones who came before.
Other than that, stay safe, assassins. Till next time.